we are going to do an example. We want to write a program, an application that asks a question. It's a trivia question. It's a presidential trivia question. And you click to get the answer. So let's start by creating a new project. And here, as I mentioned earlier, last video, make sure you name it correct right from the start. It will make your life much easier. Let's call it Presidential Trivia. And I always say to underscore, append it with your name. So I'm Provinus. Okay. And where am I going to store it? I guess I'll just store it in C# class. Part of lecture 3. Fine. No. Let's just store it in there. Okay. So I picked a place to store it. That's fine. And I named it right from the start, which will make your life easier. So here we have a blank form. So some things I like to do right from the start, changing some properties. So here is my form 1, which is generically called, if I look down here in the designer, it's called a form 1 with a capital letter Pascal casing. And if I view the code, sorry, it's chopped off, but there's a view code. If I view the code, you see that the namespace is correct, how I named it from the start, but the class is form 1 generic name, and the first method that's called is form 1 also, which is fine. So let's go right from the start. Remember, select it, don't double click it, and come over here and let's change its name. Presidential, I'm going to just name it the same, Trivia. And it's a form, so I'm going to call it a form. Okay. So nice, it's renamed right from the start. Maybe I don't like that font. I could make one of the things I also like doing for demo purposes is making everything bigger, just because you guys can see it better. So I'm going to go ahead and change the size of the font right from the start, just so you can read it better. And it's nice when I do it at the form level. Other things will be bigger too, which you'll see. Oh, I changed the display name. I need to change the form name. Presidential Trivia. Remember, we don't want to leave anything with default names. Okay, so now we need to design it. Usually you think about what needs to be on the form before you start. Common controls here. But this is a pretty simple program, so we can design it digitally as we go. We are going to need a label that asks a question. There's a label that asks for asking the question, and we are going to need another label to give the answer. And we're going to need a button that says, tell me the answer, basically, or show answer. And, oops, I have a button. See now how I have nice big text now? A label, and we're going to need a button to quit. Always put your quit button on there. So there's going to be a quit button also. Looks like I need to resize things a little bit, make it a little bit nicer, design the GUI right from the start. Now, you see the alignment marks? Make your designs look nice, make the alignments come out nice. Label 1 is, well, right now it's called label 1. We don't like that. Let's call it the question label. Oh, identifiers are Pascal, camel casing. So it's the question label. Good. Here's the question label. And what does it say? It says whatever our question is. So let's change its text property. Text property somewhere in here. There's the text property. And the question is going to be, how about who is the oldest and the youngest elected president? Oldest and youngest elected presidents? Question mark. Oh, and we see we need to do a little resizing here. So right now the form is set to to automatically resize this box according to the text that's there. I can change that if I want in the properties. Under layout there's an auto size there. I'm going to change auto size to be false. Then I can make this box whatever shape I want it. So if I want my text to be on 2 lines, it will be on 2 lines or 1 line, however I choose. So anyway, you have that option of changing it if you would like. So I think I'll just leave it all on one line. Okay, so who is the oldest and youngest president? Remember, we designed the GUI first, make everything look nice. So what else do we need? Button 1, let's call it let's rename everything. Button 1. Button 1 is the, find its name. It's called button 1 right now. Let's call it the show answer button. That's its name. And its text property is going to be not button 1, but show answer. Okay. Button 2 is our exit button or our quit button. We don't want it to be named button 2, so go under design, change its property. It's going to be an exit button. And what's it going to say? Its text property is going to say exit. Could say quit, could say exit, you can pick it. I don't like the way this form looks. It's a little bit not symmetrical looking to my eye. And this is where the answer is going to come out. So it's going to be, let's rename it. It's going to be down there, and it's not going to be label 2, it's going to be an answer label. Okay, and maybe the answer comes out in a box, so I think I would like to change its auto size property to be false, and I'm going to show a border because that's where the answer is going to come out. So over here there's a border style. I guess a single border will be nice, fixed single. And now I can resize it and expect an answer to, maybe we'll see if it fits out here or not. See how it fits. Okay, well, right now when I look at this form, it says label 2 for the text property. We really don't want it to say label 2 when the program starts running. So one of the things we can do is change its visibility. Somewhere in here is its visibility. Sometimes it's hard to find things. There's so many properties you can change. There is a visibility in here somewhere for a property. Oh, I inadvertently got on the form. Let's get back on label 2, and there should be a visibility property in here somewhere. Just have to find it. Visible. Let's make it false. So if I run it right now, nothing will happen. But if I run it right now, this is what the form looks like. And you can see that nothing, the answer is not showing anywhere. Okay, I guess that's not really quite what I wanted. Let me change that visibility. And visibility is true. I just lost visibility. Oops. Again, I'm on the form. Visibility. Okay, instead of saying visibility, let's just make the text be nothing right now. Text property has nothing in it. That's what I wanted. and then the visibility is true so we can see it. So if I run it right now, even though the program doesn't do anything, this is what I see, just a blank form, but nothing will happen because I haven't created any event handlers. So let's create the event handlers, which is the code underneath. So now the order you create the event handlers are the order it's going to show up in your code. It doesn't really matter, but for a readable point of view, it's nice kind of to put them in order. So the first event handler is when the user clicks here, so that's the event that occurs. So double click on that, and it created my event handler, and it's called a show answer button click because it took the name of the button automatically and appended click on it. So I said an event handler or a method needs to start with a verb, and it does. It's a show answer. But I kind of like to rename it, so it's just a show answer click event. Doesn't need to be a button click. This part I guess doesn't matter too much, but later when we write our own methods it's okay. So this is the show answer click event. And then back on our designer, we also need an exit one, this one right here. So it's an exit button. I'm good. Exit button underscore click, good enough. So this dot close parentheses semicolon, that will close the program. So close is a method. You can recognize it by the parentheses right there. And so is this click event is also a method. You can recognize it by the parentheses right there. Okay, so let's go back and see what happens when show answer gets clicked. Right now there's nothing in the show answer click event. So what we want is the answer to appear in this label right here. And that label is called, sometimes I forget, the label was called the answer label. Now I can select it and look down in the properties window and see what I called it. Or my other choice is to come over here and expand some things in the Solution Explorer. So if you expand the designer, you'll see our piece of code right there called Presidential Trivia. And if you expand it, you can see everything that you've named right here. There's a question label and there's an answer label. And there's a show answer button and there's an exit button. So, okay, so we know it's the answer label that we're interested in changing the text property of. So let's go back to our code. So answer label, and the IntelliSense lookup feature tells you that you've created something called an answer label, an object called answer label. Whoops. And well, let's try again. Answer label, click, click, dot, and we're going to change its text property equals. The answer is, do you know the answer? The answer is the oldest president is Ronald Reagan. Who was 69 when he was elected. And the youngest one to be elected was, sorry, I'm looking at my cheat sheet here, Kennedy. And he was only 43 when he was elected. A young man. And don't forget there's a red squiggle there. I need a semicolon. So anyway, so this should run now. Let's check it real quick. Who are the oldest and youngest elected presidents? Show answer. There's the answer. Lovely. And then we can exit. Okay, so this is not a done solution right now. What's missing? Up here at the top, we're missing our preamble. So our comment block. that says the programmer is G. Provinus. The date is, I'm actually doing this on the 7th. And the description, this program is a okay, so we have a problem here. I dropped a thing here, so the color is not right, should be green. This program is a presidential trivia simple game. And let's close the comment block right here with another /. Okay, so that's the end of the comment block. Now there's 2 lines of white space here. You cannot have that. If you do that, I'm going to ding you. You should not have any extra white space. 1 is acceptable. Okay, so I commented that. And then every method has to have a line comment associated with it. The one that initializes the form, I don't require. You can line comment if you want. And main, which you can't see, does not require one also. But these 2 methods that we created, these 2 event handlers, have to have a line comment. So I'm going to come right above it. I'm going to put a space for readability, put my 2 slashes and say, this event handler displays the answer. And then over here on the other event handler, // this event handler closes program when user clicks. This is now a complete program with proper documentation. This is how I would expect you to submit your program. So run it, still runs good, no errors. Yes, okay. So this is done. That's the example. I'm just going to refresh you on how you would submit this problem. So close this solution. Actually, I can close Visual Studio at this point. And I can, now you're seeing my desktop, isn't that lovely? Let me open up. This is some stuff we're going to be using later in C# 2018. I put that program in this folder right here, but you can see the entire program is in this folder. So if I double click on the thing that says PresidentialTrivia_Provinus.sln for solution, Visual Studio will open and the program will be there. But I have another folder here that has all kinds of things, binary and object codes and properties, and all the little folders that are on the right hand side in the Solution Explorer. All those little C# files and things are over there, are contained here also. So going back up to the overriding folder right here, which is Presidential Trivia, a folder. Before you can submit this to Laulima, what you have to do is right click it. I prefer not to get them as 7 zips. I prefer to get them, hang on a minute. I had to install this because of another student. Well, you're going to zip it. Send to, yes, that's what I want you to do. Let me move this over. Right click, send to compressed zip folder. If you do 7-zip, that's okay too. I can work with either one. So zip it. There it is, zipped. And the zipped folder is what you need to submit to Laulima. Thank you. That's it.